Lloyd Burr Live, the podcast.
With Lexus, experience amazing.
I'm going to start with a question. Are you okay with Australia going nuclear? At the moment, they don't have nuclear power stations, they don't have nuclear weapons, they don't have nuclear-propelled military equipment. But that'll soon change when Australia acquires nuclear-powered submarines from both the US and the UK. It's part of a tri-lateral alliance. It's called AUKUS, and some are calling it the most significant military tech agreement since the Cold War. And it has a pretty astonishing price tag as well, 368 billion Australian dollars. This is around 400 billion New Zealand dollars. It'll be spent over 3 decades. And it'll see 5 US-built subs join the Royal Australian Navy, and 8 UK-designed but Australian-built subs join the Royal Australian Navy as well. And the US and UK military, they're going to also share a base in Western Australia, and they'll rotate some of their own subs through it as well. So they're going to have a presence in this part of the world. What are the reasons, though, behind this huge military expansion? What are the implications as well? Joining us now is Geopolitical Analyst from the Democracy Project, Geoffrey Miller. Now, welcome to the show, Geoffrey. Why is Australia doing this? Why is it beefing up its sub-fleet?
Good evening, Lloyd. Well, it all comes down to China, really, and these 3 countries, Australia, the US and the UK, are all really spooked by China at the moment. So they're making some pretty big, pretty expensive long-term decisions to try and counter what they see as the threat from China. And it is an eye-watering price tag, as you say, of around 400 billion New Zealand dollars over 30 years. And even accounting for Australia's large size, it's a huge amount of money. It will be about 25% of their annual defence budget alone will be spent on these submarines. And there are very few countries in the world, Lloyd, that actually have nuclear-powered submarines. These are not common technologies. It's only really the really big powers that have them: China, India, the US, Russia. There are only 6 countries in the world that have them, and there'll soon be a 7th right in our backyard, Australia.
So spooked by China. Why are they spooked by China?
Oh, I mean, I don't think it's any secret that China seems to be more assertive now under Xi Jinping, and that trajectory has been happening now for a while. So countries are looking at China's moves, and they're making these decisions. I think, though, we need to think very carefully about locking in the inevitability of superpower conflict, and that's what this decision seems to be doing. I think there are other options and ways that we can go about this, and de-escalation is a big one. And I think New Zealand needs to think very carefully about its strategy. It can get swept up in all of this, and there's a review underway at the moment of New Zealand's own defence strategy, and New Zealand is quite likely to be spending more on defence very soon. But I don't think we should just be doing what Australia wants or what the US wants. We need to think carefully about our own relationship with China, which is actually pretty good, all things considered, and 1/3 of our trade goes to China every year. So I think, not seeing conflict as inevitable and not continuing this march to World War III, as it seems at the moment, would be a good idea. And talking is a big part of that. So it will be really interesting to see when Chris Hipkins heads to Beijing. That was announced at the end of last year. Jacinda Ardern said that she hoped to go to China earlier in the new year and lead a trade mission. Hipkins, when he came in January as Prime Minister, said he hoped to follow through with that, but we haven't had any announcement. And of course, things have really gone quite negative in terms of the relationship between China and the West at the moment since all that spy balloon stuff kicked off in February.
You used the word de-escalation earlier in that answer. This doesn't sound like de-escalation to me. It sounds like escalation. What does it mean now that they're going to have all that, they're going to base, I think it's US is going to base 4 of its submarines in Western Australia or rotate them through there. The UK is going to have 1. What does it do to the stability of the Asia-Pacific region? Is Australia now more of a target for China?
Well, China's going to be furious with these plans. I mean, they've already signalled this. I mean, the deal, the AUKUS deal, was announced in principle back in 2021. It's the detail that we're getting today. But yes, from as early as 2027, there are going to be nuclear-powered submarines stationed in Western Australia. They're going to be US and British ones initially, while these ones are built for Australia. And Australia is going to purchase some US nuclear-powered submarines in the 2030s as well that will be stationed permanently in Australia. So it really does change the game, if you like, and China is certainly not going to be happy with Australia's moves here, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be pretty brassed off. Thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate you coming on the show. That is Geopolitical Analyst Geoffrey Miller from the Democracy Project.
That was Lloyd Burr Live, the podcast. Hear and see more from the show online now at todayfm.co.nz.
With Lexus, experience amazing.
Things are getting seriously hot with Macca's spicy chicken range. Tempt your taste buds with spicy chicken McNuggets, classic McSpicy burger, or the all-new McSpicy Bacon Deluxe. Macca's, serious about chicken, serious about spice. Conditions apply.